Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Make
Good
sure that
evening.
I'm unmuted. Glad you're all able to make it. Just in time to hear the end of our inspiration theme song.
Yeah, that was nice.
Yes, indeed. Greg Balu, how do you pronounce your name, Greg?
Like below.
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 Balu.
Yeah.
Balu. All right, very good, very good. Nice to have you back again.
Yeah, absolutely.
Very good. How's Mamie Nesbitt?
Hey, I'm good. How are you, Jonathan?
Not a single thing I'm willing to complain about. Thank you. Nothing I'm willing to complain about. We have Maryland. Catherine Robinson has joined us.
Hey.
How are you?
All right, and you?
Very good, very good. Jean is with us. Elliot, Jacqueline Smith. Hello, welcome.
Hello, thank you.
Yes, it's so nice having Jackie back in the mix again.
It's good to be back.
Do you know how influential you are, Jackie?
Am I? I didn't realize that.
You point your finger, you say this, you say that, and folks go this way or they go that way. That's
I'm
that's a,
trying. I think
that's a
I'm gonna stick
wonderful
with you
thing.
this time.
Well, excellent. Well, your timing is very good. No question about it. Very good timing. Dolores, how are you?
Fine. How are you? How's everybody?
All
All
right,
right,
and
good.
you?
Hey,
Rob
Dolores.
Martin.
Hey.
How's it going, Jonathan?
Very good, Rob. Good to see you.
Great seeing you, my friend. Yes, indeed.
All right, we got a few folks that are joining us. They'll be trickling in as the time kind of lumbers on. Hate to delay our meetings because your time is important. Your time is valuable, and we know that you have some invited guests. There may be some here that are just for the first time that are visiting, and we're happy to have you here with us as well. You may have gotten a notice when you first came in that the meeting is being recorded. It's being live streamed. And you know why we live stream, right? You know why? Anybody know why we live stream?
Uh, so
To make it available for more people.
More people, no question about it. And so there are some individuals right now, about 700 people get a notice when this particular channel goes to live stream. About 700 people get a notice. And if they decide that they want to tie in, all they got to do is click on a button and they're experiencing the entire presentation that you're getting live. So that's why you want to encourage your guest to go to the channel and click subscribe. And that's your best way of keeping them connected, because they could be just driving along somewhere. They could be with someone at that time with a guest, and they could just turn their phone over and say, you should listen to this. So that's one way of your being able to help to get the word out. So like, subscribe, and share the channel. And that's you can easily get to it. Just go to youtubejonathan.com if you're just here for the first time and you don't know where to get to it. That domain name will point directly to my YouTube channel. So youtubejonathan.com. It takes you directly to the channel. So like, subscribe, and share. So welcome, everybody. My name is Jonathan Jones. Today is it's not July anymore. It's August the 2nd, 2022. And it's a little bit after 7:30. In fact, my clock says 7:34. It's my privilege and pleasure to be your host and moderator for the evening. We have just a few things that we'd like to share with you tonight. But one of them is a presentation, a video that you may or may not have seen at some point in your Engage Global life. But I think it's valuable enough to go back and take a look at it again because it's a nice little introduction, nice little overview, and you get a chance to hear Dr. Prasad introduce himself. So let's see if I can find a way to pull this up. Is it going to cooperate by doing it that way? I don't know. I'm just going to share the screen. How about if I share the screen and then whatever I put on the screen, that'll be there. How about that? Listen carefully. Let's
What are
comments.
the limits of human performance? What if you could push beyond them? What would it take to redefine performance in these key areas? Physically, mentally, how our immune system functions, and how the natural recovery mechanisms in our body respond? How would you feel if your immune system at its peak, or if your body would recover faster and better, allowing you to get back at it that much quicker? We can't stop the natural processes of aging or the stresses of life, but we can do something about them. Thanks to a breakthrough in nutritional science, we can effectively protect our bodies from it. Introducing Micro Daily, a powerful micronutrient that works at our cellular level, exclusively from Engage Global.
Working 12 to 14 hours a day puts a lot of stress on my body. I'm always exhausted. And so now I feel more energized to do the work that I need to get done. And on top of that, I'm able to spend more time with my family, enjoy the things that I enjoy doing.
There's so many options out there. It's hard to know what to use and that's safe. I have a lot of people doing when I'm with them that'll be there for them for a long time.
Scientists have been exploring the best and most natural ways to support human health and wellness for decades. One renowned scientist, Dr. Kedar Prasad, made the creation of a supplement that would maximize the body's potential his life's work. After 4 decades of research, Dr. Prasad, who is considered one of the world's premier experts on micronutrients, created a proprietary formulation that offers the optimal combination of micronutrients to support health at a cellular level.
Hello, my friend. I'm Dr. Kedar Prasad. During my career as a radiation biologist at the prestigious laboratory in Long Island, New York, I became convinced that the right combination of vitamin and micronutrient could result in a groundbreaking formulation that could fight oxidative stress and inflammation. As many know, those are the sources of most chronic diseases. Not long after this, I became the chief scientist and formulator of that groundbreaking micronutrient formulation. Today, that formulation is known as Micro Daily. Once Micro Daily was developed, it became clear that this formulation could potentially assist military personnel who suffered from the toxic effect of war. With a $24 million grant funded by the Department of Defense and private investor, I led the research team that validated Micro Daily's efficacy. The benefits of Micro Daily have proven to be much more than I originally thought possible. Through Micro Daily's CQF standard, which stands for combination, quantity, and form, the right combination of antioxidant micronutrient in the proper quantity using the specific biological form to support the body's ability to unlock its full potential by maximizing absorption and delivering maximum results. Micro Daily is the formula that is most near and dear to my heart, and it presents an achievement I hope will ultimately benefit all mankind. For this reason, I joined Engage Global as their Chief Scientific Officer. Knowing David Nemelka to be an honest and sincere individual, I knew he would help to get my formula into the lives of as many people as possible. It has been an honor to hear from so many who have benefited from this formula, and I look forward to hearing your success story. Thank you very much.
There you have it. Nice little concise discussion by Dr. Prasad. And it's kind of an old one. You see the old packaging back there, but it still tells a story. It told the story about oxidative stress and tell you a little bit of the history of the man, Dr. So talk a little bit more about that in a minute, but you notice that his goal was to see to it that his formula, his groundbreaking formula, made it to the masses. In my first conversation with David Nemelka, when I first met David Nemelka and Dr. Prasad, I don't remember what year that was now. I have to go back and check I think it was 2015. And I asked David Nemelka what was his goal. He said his goal was to see this get off to a good start and reach about 1 million people. So his goal and Dr. Prasad's goal were in alignment. They really wanted to help people. And that's what inspired me, besides the fact that the product was good, but it helped me to see that I wanted to just align myself with these folks. So what does that translate into? Is it actually happening? Are people benefiting in some way? Is it really making a difference in people's lives? You know, to the point that folks are actually experiencing positive results with this product? I would say yes, and I can say that resolutely. But keep in mind, and I'm going to put our disclaimer in to say that when it comes to nutritional supplements, we can't make any claims. We can't make any medical claims, and that's certainly not what we're doing. When it comes to testimonials that you will hear, and you're going to hear some testimonials. In fact, I'm going to share one with you in just a moment. Testimonials are purely anecdotal. You know, what happens to one person may or may not happen to you. You don't know the clinical circumstances surrounding their situation, their circumstance. You don't know what other factors may have played a role in the responses that these individuals got. But when you hear them tell the stories in their own words, you just say to yourself, ask the question, does it have the ring of truth? You know, do they believe what they're saying to be true? And is it possible that your body or the body of someone you care about could potentially start to operate better? Again, we're not talking about Microdalia or any other product being a treatment or cure for disease. And in fact, when you come to our presentations like this, please remember what you're hearing here and what you're seeing is for information and education purposes only. And don't do anything I say just because I say it. Add this information to your personal knowledge base, and then you decide after consultation with medical professionals that you trust whether or not you want to take a step toward eating some food that's missing from our food. You decide whether you want to do that. So I want you to hear this story. This woman, I think her name is Miranda, and she's sharing a story with her husband who's been suffering with dementia or Alzheimer's. He's in the car with her, but she's just telling the story. So just see if you can follow along with this. Yeah, she's driving in a car, so don't get confused by that. Don't get distracted by that, because she's very much distracted driving a car. So, but that's okay. She's telling the story. Okay. So
I was introduced to Beth Studevant by another associate, and this individual, I kept talking to him about some of the things that were happening with my husband, and my husband's here with me. So he knows I've already talked about it, and he's going to hear again things that are going on with him and how he is improving. Well, I visited Beth in Charlotte, North Carolina, and I went there specifically for my husband. And when I did, I told.
Tell us about your husband's problem. What was his problem, please, Miranda?
His problem. I hope you can hear me. His problem is he started forgetting, and just a little bit combative. But it's in the same token, that sweetness that I was getting all along was kind of like diminishing, and he had primarily he just couldn't do the things that he normally would do. For instance, for a simple thing as changing the switch out in the toilet. He said, I don't remember how to do that, Miranda. So I did it. And I said, Lord, please, what can I do? I need help. And this one, I was introduced to Beth. I drove to Charlotte. And from that particular point, she gave him some hydro. We were there for over 3.5 hours. She gave him some hydro. He drank it, and we continued to talk. She gave him a shake. We continued to talk. She gave him the Microdaily, the Brain Boost, the CD Boost. She gave him everything. And we sat it long enough for it just to get to dissolve in the system. So in essence, within the time frame of getting ready to leave Charlotte, he had started acting just so kind, so sweet. I said, Lord, the devil is a lie. No, I don't want nobody to steal my husband from me. And I don't want this dreaded disease to take my husband away, because he comes from a family where several of his siblings have died of dementia and or Alzheimer. So in essence, it started working. And let me tell you this. I told him just the other day, I said, the kitchen light is kind of dim. It's gone out. Now, that's something he wouldn't even mess with. When I came home, it had been changed. I said, oh, my God, thank you. And then I said to him, I said, oh, I need to put another brighter light on the other side of the kitchen. I came home. The ladder was up. He was changing a bulb. I said, oh, thank you, Jesus. Little by little, I give it to him in the morning, but water, the shake too, right? The shake, the hydro, he drinks that constantly. And he said, I don't know what's in that stuff, but it keeps me in the bathroom, Miranda. So I'm parking my car. So that's something that it has really, really made major difference in our relationship. He has returned to that sweet, gentle individual. And today, my husband is a person that makes me laugh all the time. So today I laughed so until I said, oh, we're almost back to normal. But he still forgets. I'll be in shortly, baby. He still forgets some things, but he's getting there. Now, Beth said to me, she said, Miranda, excuse me, I'm putting my brakes in. She said, Miranda, after he's on this for about 3 months, you're going to really see a major change. And I thank God for Dr. Prasad. Lord, y'all don't know. I just wished I had this for some of his family members. But he's the only surviving now. So in essence, he's just my miracle right now. And I'm praying and asking God to just continue to heal his brain, to heal what's going on in his body. Whatever it takes to bring him back to that loving person that when he touched me, I knew he touched me, saying, I love you, Miranda. It's just one of the things, y'all, I can't even begin to tell you just how powerful this particular product is. It's powerful. It's powerful. And he's just only been on for a week. Just
Oh, wow.
week.
Thank you.
Wow.
Thank
Just
you,
a
Miranda.
week,
Wow.
y'all. And do you know
Miranda.
something? I'm just so overwhelmed. I ask him certain things. The man I've been married to for 42 years is coming back to me. And that's beautiful, y'all. Anybody
How old is
that's
your husband,
gone through-
Miranda?
My husband is 75.
75.
Going to break in on the discussion right there. Again, you decide whether what you're hearing is true, whether what she says has any ring of truth. I'm going to repeat it again, though. The FDA is not evaluating any of these comments. Testimonials are purely anecdotal. What happens to one person may or may not happen to you. Results are atypical. Because we don't know the clinical circumstances surrounding what happened with that particular person. But when she shared her story, that was like the second time or so that I heard that story. And this was long before Collagen Daily came out. So that's a person who had tremendous benefits neurologically from just Microdaily. And that was the Microdaily Hydros, primarily what she's talking about, and the Brain Boost. And since then, we now have Collagen Daily added to the equation. And you remember hearing Dr. Prasad helping us to understand that Collagen Daily has one unique benefit. It stops the enzymes that deplete the body from depleting collagen, diminishing our collagen. So it blocks those enzymes, and it also blocks the beta amyloid in the brain. And beta amyloid is what starts to damage neurons, the part of the neuron that it affects our memory. So you have three different components that besides helping the body nutritionally overall, one of the, oh, by the way, components of how it works is that it also has the ability to help with oxidative stress and problems that could be happening from a neurological point of view. Again, this is not a treatment or a cure for disease. That's just scientifically how it begins to function. And that's a nice function to be able to contemplate. Talking with a gentleman earlier today, and he said that, and it reminded me of what a man who was like a father figure for me for many, many years. And Jackie, you remember him from years gone by. His name was Isaiah Bing. He said his prayer was that he have his mind. He said he didn't mind the growing old, and he didn't mind dying. He said he knew that would happen. He said, but he just prayed that he would keep his mental faculties so he could continue to function. That's almost the exact same thing that a gentleman was saying today that I was having a conversation with. We don't want to lose it. And I don't think anybody wants to be in a position where we lose those functions. So the question we have to ask ourselves is, how can I hang on to it? Is there something in the science that gives a compelling reason as to how and why this microdaily could be of some benefit to me? I would say yes. And I call it the food that's missing from food. So all you have to do is do a little bit of science, a little bit of research. I'm not going to go into in-depth discussion of this right now. A little bit of research, and you'll find out that what we're eating today, what we're buying at the grocery store today, and even if you grow it in your own yard, it doesn't have the same nutritional content that it had back in the early 1900s, the early part of the 20th century. So 100 years ago to right now, and your grandparents' parents would have had 18 times more nutrition in the food than what we have today. So today, to get the value of nutrients from an ear of corn that your great-grandparents had access to back 100 years ago, you'd have to eat 18 ears of corn today to get the same nutrients. So that's why the title of this brochure that Engage Global has produced is called Daily Nutrition to Live Your Best Life. Just focus on that. Just focus on the thought. We're talking daily nutrition to live your best life. That's all this product is. Someone today asked the question today, where's the medical information on MicroDaily? We don't have an answer to that question other than to say that there is no medical information. We're talking about daily nutrition to live your best life. Now, if you want to hear a little bit about the science, every single person on this call today has access to this brochure, and I would encourage everyone to get it. And all I'm showing you right now is the PDF version of it. This is not a special PowerPoint presentation. I'm just displaying the PDF version of this brochure. Notice at the bottom it says the world's most scientifically validated micronutrient supplement. Powerful statement, and almost sounds like a tall order. But that's how this product started out. It really was Dr. Prasad and a team of researchers answering a call where the government wanted to have a product that would help the troops to maintain their optimum functionality. This was all about war. That's what it was. And that little package you see there in the middle of the page, that was those little bubble packs or blister packs you see there was designed for one of those soldiers to take 2 of those capsules in the morning and take 2 of them later in the day. So if you look at it real closely, you could see it says, the day of the week, Sunday on the left, Sunday on the right. So that's all you had to do is just follow that course. And then they were getting all of the nutrients that they needed for the day. That was the original plan, but something happened. Now, during the whole process here, early on, you see where it's 2001, where the Department of Defense asked Dr. Prasad for help. There were animal studies that were completed, and then safety tests were completed. And then from there, it went on to another year or so later, human clinical trials were completed. And you're going to on human clinical trials that has relevance to every one of us in this meeting here today and anyone that we care about. But it was by 2006 that it was approved. The veteran clinical trials were completed. Microdaily was approved. It became available for the general public sometime later before it actually became available to us, but it was originally called Military Micronutrient Formula. You've already had a nice introduction to Dr. Prasad in that earlier video, but no, he became the world's first radiation biology PhD. That was back in 1963. It was a 7-year course. He finished it in half the time, so about 3 years, he was done. So he was the first one to receive his PhD in radiation biology. So what in the world makes a man back in 1963 decide that he wants to concentrate on radiation? Was he looking into the future? No, he was looking into the past. As a boy, he saw what happened with Hiroshima and Nagasaki. And he said that his thinking was that someone really ought to be prepared for if something like that happens again, so that humans can deal with the aftermath of a radiation and a nuclear attack where there's radioactive fallout all over the place. And that's what made him decide he wanted to focus on that. So during the time that this went through its clinical trials and its testing stages, then let me just go back here. Because you'll see under his accolades, the product was awarded 7 US patents. And the reason it was awarded those patents is because it turns out the product was very unique in the way that it functioned. So the clinical trials that were being done in conjunction with the U.S. military and NASA, there was one clinical study that was done with a group of firemen, and it turns out that everyone they had benefits from a carotid artery point of view. Their cholesterol levels were normalized, and that's not what they were looking for. But it just so happens, oh, by the way, it was having an effect on their bad cholesterol. In another clinical study, oh, by the way, everyone's A1C, all the soldiers' A1C was dropping. So that ended up leading to a submission for a patent for treatment of diabetes. And I'll show you the reference to that in just a moment. But right there in the middle of the page, that's David Nemelka with Dr. Prasad. And David Nemelka is the CEO and founder of Engage Global. He's a pretty remarkable man. So he's put all of his monies that he's earned over the years, his pockets. He went into his pockets and got this company started. And this is what the product looks like today. This is the original formula, by the way. When you see the green bottle, that is the same formula that the soldiers had on the battlefield in the beginning. So that's what that is that you're looking at right there. If you look on the left side of the page, there's the list of ingredients, the basic list of ingredients, and there's nothing really special there unless you really know a little bit of something about the details. Look at vitamin E succinate. There's a couple of details about vitamin E succinate that is very, very unique. It, one, crosses the blood-brain barrier. And two, out of all the different types of vitamin E that exist, did you even know that there were multiple types of vitamin E? I didn't either. I Googled it. I think the number was 6. There's 6 or 8 different types of vitamin E, but there's one called vitamin E succinate. Why did Dr. Prasad choose vitamin E succinate versus all the other vitamin E's that you could get? They were much cheaper, by the way. Is because Dr. Prasad is the man who wrote a clinical paper. By the way, he's been published 250 times. One of those 250 publications is where he discovered that vitamin E succinate is cytotoxic to cancer cells. The word cytotoxic means kills. So he's the one who figured out that vitamin E succinate kills cancer cells. That's what Dr. Prasad figured out. So you can do the research, look it up for yourself, and you'll see. So he decided to add that one into this product, not because this product it will kill or cure cancer. That's not what that's all about. But if you have to have some vitamin E in your body, and you have to have vitamin E crossing your blood-brain barrier, wouldn't you prefer to have one that's also killing some cancer cells along the way? That's my personal preference too. I'm right along there with you on that one. I'm seeing that one as just a plus. That's just a plus. Look at the rest of them. CoQ10, alpha-lipoic acid, N-acetylcysteine. Focus in on those 3, because those 3 things not only gobble up free radicals, they cause your body to make glutathione, which is the master antioxidant. When your glutathione levels are high, free radicals and oxidative stress is diminished in the body. What causes cognitive dysfunction? Oxidative stress and free radical damage. What causes abnormal cells to develop into cancers that can't be controlled or need harsh chemicals to treat? Free radicals and oxidative stress. So if you have components in your body that's fighting against free radicals and oxidative stress, what does that mean that you have? An immune system that's robust. That's what you got. That's all this is doing. It's not like the average vitamin. It's because Dr. Prasad, he's the one that established this CQF standard, right combination, right quantity, right form. And there's 4 decades of research that came to bear on this particular combination, quantity, and form. Because you can go to the health food store right now, and I'll just give you a real life example. My mother-in-law was having some issues. She went to her doctor, and the doctor just simply, after exhausting all tests and nothing came up positive, my mother-in-law said, "So what do I need to do?" She says, "We can't help you." She said, "What do you mean? You're the doctor." She says, "There's nothing that we can do to help you." She says, "You might want to go to one of the health food stores and see what you can find there." She said, "Well, what do I go to the health food store to get?" She says, "I don't know." Then she says to her, this was priceless. I wish I had a recording of this. She says, "Doesn't your son-in-law know something that you can take?" I paid money for that one. So that made it, that lowered all the resistance after that to any other products that we were suggesting for her. But I'm laughing, but really we should all be crying. Doctors aren't telling people what they could go to the health food store to buy. They don't know. Seriously? You have to come on a Tuesday evening to hear from somebody like me? I don't have degrees and numbers behind my name. I'm not a doctor, by the way. Don't claim to be one. And but I'm just a researcher. I do research, and I believe that every cause has an effect. I think that something caused us to be in a state of dysfunction. Whatever it is, it happened for a reason. It happened by something. And if you can trace it back to the cause, you can undo it. You can reverse it. I believe anything can be reversed. Look at the picture on the left. The blue marble on the left, that's a picture of a cell. The one on the right has been damaged by free radicals. You want yours to look like the blue marble on the left. That's what you want your cells to look like. So you want to stop the free radicals from doing that. And if you think it's not that big of a deal, heart attacks come because of free radical damage. Cancer comes because of free radical damage. Alzheimer's, dementia, every disease you can think of starts with free radical damage. You need to stop that as quick as you can in any way that you can. And now you've got a tool. That's why we title our presentation, Good Health is a Choice. It's really up to you. It's not up to somebody else. It's not the doctor's fault. Good health is a choice. We can decide how we feel. I'm just kind of thumbing through these, the different products here. The person who invited you to this presentation can tell you more about each of the products and what they do. But I'd like to just assure you that every one of these products has been stamped CQF by Dr. Prasad. And he's a brilliant man. But before we wrap up this discussion, I do want to just point to your attention to one part of this brochure that you should really hone in on. And that's this little picture here. And I often overlook that picture of those two little blobs there in the center left side of the page. I often overlook that, but Jeff has been bringing it to my attention more and more, and now I'm paying more attention to it. I'm encouraging you to do the same. What you see is the results of, well, it's 2 dead rabbits, really. These are 2 rabbits that gave their lives for science. I'm not sure that they necessarily volunteered for it, but that's what happened. So the rabbit on the left and the rabbit on the right were both zapped with lethal doses of radiation. Lethal doses of radiation. The rabbit on the left was fed, but he was fed basic food. The rabbit on the right was fed not just food, but he was fed the food and the food that's missing from food. Dr. Prasad's formula. The rabbit on the left, that's his lungs. It looks like he had a bad smoking habit, doesn't it? That radiation didn't just kill him. It looks like it fried his lungs, doesn't it? Is that what it looks like to you? That's what smokers' lungs would look like. The rabbit on the right, that was fed food and the food that's missing from food, his lungs look fresh and look like they're still able to breathe. How would you like your lungs to look? If you're saying to yourself, but I'm not being exposed to lethal doses of radiation, think again. When's the last time you've gone to the dentist? When you go to the dentist, what do you see the technician do when they get ready to do x-rays on you? They run into the next room. They put a big old lead vest on you, and then they run into the next room and push the button from across the room because they don't want to be anywhere near what they're zapping you with. When's the last time you had a CAT scan or MRI? It's way more than that dentist x-ray. Walking out in the sun, the ozone layer has gotten thin. We're getting more radiation. Set all of that aside. We're all walking around, and that whole 5G thing that everybody's enjoying, radiation. We're being zapped by radiation every which way. You cannot avoid it. The question you need to ask yourself or to answer is, how do I want my lungs to look? The bunny on the left or the bunny on the right? Just think about that one. Which one do you want your lungs to look like? Bunny on the left or the bunny on the right? Now, in case you, just a tiny bit of science related to that. Still look on the left side of the page. About halfway down, do you see the words there, DNA protection and repair? Can you see that? I'm not going to try to zoom in on it because I'm sorry, my computer just is not robust enough to be able to handle that. I'm afraid it will shut down on me. But if you can see the words DNA protection and repair there, that's a clinical study that was done. They found out that in 48 hours after consuming the food that's missing from food, they measured 100% DNA repair after humans being exposed to radiation. 100%. They measured it, and there's a clinical study to prove it. Bunny on the left, bunny on the right. Take your pick. Now, before we leave this page, on the right center this time, right center down the bottom, there's a patent there that you should feast your eye on. Those words. A patent that was awarded, a U.S. patent that was awarded. Can you see the words? Micronutrient formulations for treatment of diabetes mellitus. I call it mellitus. Diabetes mellitus. Micronutrient formulation for treatment of diabetes. I've never seen a nutritional supplement that has the word treatment and diabetes in the same sentence. We're not claiming that MicroDaily is a treatment or cure for any disease, least of all diabetes, but I am allowed by law to tell you that that patent exists. You decide. You decide. These are just some of the books that Dr. Prasad has written or co-authored. Left center, the left center side of the page, you see that in the left center, halfway down, Fight Diabetes with Vitamins and Antioxidants. That would be sweet enough if that was the only book that we were looking at. But if you look at some of the other titles, half of them say cancer. This man has written more books about cancer than I have ever read. He knows a little something about cancer. Cancer is the number 3 cause of death. Heart disease is number 1. That's on the left side on the bottom. You see it? Left side, right next to fighting cancer, there says fight heart disease with vitamins and antioxidants. Do you see that? Heart disease is the number 1 cause of death in this country. So number 1, heart disease. Number 2, cancer. Number 3, you know what number 3 is? Anybody know what the number 3 cause of death is in this country? The American medical system. Number 3. Medical mistakes, number 3. Number 4 is diabetes. So number 1, number 2, and number 4 feed number or number 3 feeds them all, who feeds what. But those are all the reasons why we die in this country. You don't want to be in any one of those top 4 categories. So if you want to avoid being any of the top 4 causes of death, then do something. Do something. It's a choice. It's a decision that you can make to be or not. Okay. Now, Jeff, did we have another testimony that we want to share? I know you had one lined up that you were thinking about. And if not, what we're going to do is we're going to see if there's any questions before we wrap up.
You know what? Yeah, I mean, is there any particular direction? Do we have somebody on here that has a question or a certain situation that they're facing? Maybe I've got a video that will target that. So
okay, well, let's see if there's a question that that pops up. Are there any questions or anyone who would like to share their own story? Just raise your digital hand, and we're happy to hear your expressions or answer the question that you might have. Some have asked the question about how much it costs. I see the iPhone just kicked in, but we'll get you in just a second. But some have asked how much the products cost. And I can tell you that they're very inexpensive. The green bottle cost about $53. And the most advanced formula, the one that I take now, cost about $73. That's the wholesale price or the discount price. So if you want to get it for a discount, you just get a subscription. So whoever invited you to this discussion can help you to get it at a discount. And okay, iPhone. Is that Dan Chancellor?
Yes, it is.
I recognize that face. Welcome, welcome. So good to see you, sir.
Good to see you. It's good to be headed healthier again. A quick question about the radiation poisoning, EMF, and that particular situation. I'm very fascinated with that because I know we're being bombarded every which way. You made a statement that a decision is a choice. So which decision do you want? Can you pursue that just lightly? What else you would say to individuals that might stir their curiosity in a positive way?
About it being a choice?
Yes.
And particularly the way that the lungs were looking, you're saying, with the radiation, affected radiation?
Yes.
It's actually it actually is very simple, and I'm glad that you're raising that question because I try not to delve in it too much. Jeff has had some very extensive discussions about the impact of 5G radiation. There is a video, but it's a little bit too long. I don't want to show that right now. But there are some people who are more susceptible to radiation than others. Now, so some people that manifest right away, they can tell. Back in the early days, you remember when cell phones first came out, I would put the cell phone up to my head because that's the way we were told. And we were all told that they wouldn't cause cancer. I couldn't understand why I kept getting these headaches. And eventually my wife had done some research and in fact, she had gone to the Hippocrates Health Institute in West Palm Beach. And the gentleman, Brian Clemens, was the one who said that the radiation from these phones was causing cancer. So I stopped putting the cell phone up to my head. I stopped doing that altogether. And sure enough, it was just a matter of time before all the headaches stopped. I wasn't having any more problems with that at all. But to add to that, just to kind of reinforce it, I don't know that there's a causal connection. And Jeff, if you can weigh in on this, please do. But about a decade ago, the number one form of cancer in children was leukemia. Now, the number one form of cancer in children is glioblastoma, brain cancer. And that's according to the World Health Organization. The World Health Organization now considers cellular phones as being probable carcinogenics. That's the same category that they have cigarettes in. So they believe that cell phones are as dangerous as cigarettes. So if we are being bathed with radiation, whether we are conscious of it or not, we should be protecting ourselves. from it. So I hope that that kind of answers your question.
And
Please, go ahead.
I'll jump in, Jonathan, and just say right here in the sample that we send out to people for free, it opens it up, and right there you're seeing that's the cellular penetration of, well, you can see an adult, and then you can go through the different ages, how much that goes into their heads. And here we have it. I mean, we can send this right out. Radiation science developed with NASA, formulated to protect U.S. troops. Talks about the radiation soup that we live in. And there's the supplement facts panel along with the actual sample. So yes, these are available to you. And we just found out last night that when you enroll a new preferred customer or an affiliate, you get 5 of these sample credits, and they're good for 90 days. So you can send those out to your friends. That would be a good connection to send to them. And then along with that 5G video, where it just lays it all out. It's about 7 minutes long. And it's one of my favorite things that we're going to do to just really share this with everybody. Like
And we'll show that 5G. We'll show that 5G on Thursday. So we'll make sure we feature that on Thursday.
If
Go ahead, Dan.
if I might be permitted, my brother in March of 2021, where he carries his cell phone, uses it all the time. He's on a lot, so his right hemisphere ended up with a glioblastoma. They took it out, and we buried him. He died. His anniversary of his death will be in 2 weeks last year.
Wow.
And it's everything that you're saying is matching up with what had happened, and I'm like, unbelievable. Now, I'm one of those, I got earbuds all over the place. I earbud this, earbud that, or even put it on speakerphone, keep it away from me. But this radiation thing is going to start going off the charts. And if it does that to your brain, guess what it's doing to your thyroid, pituitary, thymus, all of those glands that are very sensitive to that. It's just, we're in big trouble here.
That's absolutely right, Dan. Thank you. Thank you very much for weighing in on that. We're very sorry to hear about your brother, but it helps us to learn another lesson. So thank you very much for sharing your comments on that. How sad that is. So, okay. Any other question? We have time for maybe one more. We've already gone a little past the time that we had allotted for this meeting, but we want to thank you guys very much for joining us. And here's the lineup for this week. Thursday at 6 o'clock. If you'd like to come back again, bring a guest with you. We'll be here on Thursday at 6 o'clock. Sunday at 5 p.m. These are all Eastern Standard Time. Sunday at 5 p.m. I'm going to be interviewing Dr. Prasad, and the subject is nutrition and support your brain's immune system. I think is the full theme that we're using. Support your brain's immune system. So we're focusing a lot on the brain right now because Dr. Prasad has focused a lot on the brain. So, and COVID-19 is causing brain fog and COVID brain. And they have just identified that there's a known neurotoxin on the spike protein. They're trying to figure out why there's so many neurological issues associated with COVID-19. So we're going to be talking about how to protect your brain's immune system and put that into place. So that's Sunday at 5 o'clock. So we have Thursday at 6 o'clock, Sunday at 5 o'clock. And all the same Zoom ID and password to access both. So keep in mind, folks, again, that the information we provide on presentations like this is for information educational purposes only. Nothing that is said here is intended to be a substitute for a visit to your primary health care physician. These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. We strongly recommend that you seek the competent medical advice of professionals that you trust. Take the information into consideration when you're making decisions about your health and well-being. Don't do anything I say because I say it. So that's it. Thank you all very much for joining us tonight. We'll see you on Thursday at 6 o'clock p.m. You guys have a good night, everybody.
Thanks, Jonathan. Great job.
Jonathan.
Thank you, Jonathan.
Jonathan. Thank you.
You guys.
Bye.
Y'all have a good night.
Night.
Thank Thank you. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.